Hello and welcome back to Tales from the Age of Men. And indeed, we are fighting against men at this very moment, because what we are now tasked is that we have to eliminate this wonderful army of the Rohan faction and then move on to where we need to go to, which is indeed possibly Helm's Deep. Yes, I know. I'm very excited, actually, to see whether we can even do that. I'm not sure if it's even going to be possible, but I am very much looking forward to trying it. So, as you can no doubt tell, we do have a relatively large army on our hands here, and we're also facing a large army, so this is going to be interesting. We have 225 on the field, they have 175, I believe they have about 250, we have about 300 or so, so hopefully... Hopefully that's going to be good enough. Hopefully it's going to be good enough for us to achieve victory here. Obviously they have a, well, I was actually going to say a significant amount of cavalry, but apparently they don't. So very interesting there. Apparently they, apparently they've been a little bit in the dumps. And that's probably because a lot of their vassals have been eliminated, of course. And so as a result, they have a lot more difficulty gathering their forces. And that really makes a huge difference for us, of course. Ooh, that guy managed to raise his shield just in time, but we did massive damage, obviously, because of our axe, dealing that bonus damage against shields. Really, really nice to see that. There we go, 54 damage. Very, very nice. Can we get a little bit more than that? Why are my archers out the front here? I don't know why my archers are out the front there, but yes, that's a bit of a mistake on my part. Hopefully it won't result in too many deaths, but that's okay. Even if we do, most of my archers are not very good as it is right now anyway, so I don't think we really need to worry too much. Okay, so let's start moving our forces. We've got so many infantry right now that we should absolutely destroy in melee combat. Like, they should have no issue at all in absolutely decimating the opponent, obliterating them in every single way. Nice hit. Nice. Oh, these are Gondorian? Oh, they're not Rohan. Okay, that's actually interesting. I thought they were Rohan, actually, for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. Whoa, these guys have shiny helmets. Wow. Okay. Very, very shiny. That's the thing I noticed. Yes, that's the thing. I'm just like, oh, they've got very shiny helmets, don't they? Yes, well, let's just head through them as best as we can. Black Veil Elite Longbowmen. They are actually really, really good. Those Elite Longbowmen, so we do have to be a bit cautious with them. Let's try and kill that guy. No, we killed his horse at least. Okay. And let's see if we can do some more. Yes, there we go. Nice. We're actually starting to get one-shots now, because we're getting a little bit lucky in regards to our two-handed skill finally being a little bit higher up than it was previously. So we're now able to get those big hits on the more armored units, and that is actually providing us with one-shots against them nowadays in comparison to before when we weren't really able to do that. As you can see, look at this. Instant kill against most of these. Unfortunately, the trees are now making things a bit more difficult. And let's continue moving our forces. Let's put them into a square. And we're going to move these guys around the side. Move the cavalry around the side. Try to see if we can maybe get around there. Maybe we can do a little bit of something with the archers. Maybe we can do a little bit of a flanking action. I don't really want to die here, so I will be a bit cowardly, and I will try to save myself. Because I don't really want to get shot and killed. How am I? Okay, I'm kind of looking for this. Let's get my archers over here as well. And let's try to get these guys. I'm going to have them engage the enemy's infantry. There we go. And they're going to remain in formation as they do that, which is obviously going to be perfect for us. Hopefully good. I'm kind of hopeful that they're also going to continue attacking the enemy's cavalry. I hope they will do that. But if they don't, then that's fine. You know, their shields are very strong, so we should be absolutely fine there. Let's tell our cavalry to charge in, because they are right next to the enemy archers, or should be right next to the enemy archers, and our cavalry should have a pretty easy time of eliminating them. At least that's the hope. Okay, oh, we've got to be a little bit careful here. There's the red wall of doom. Let's not do that. There we go. All right, yeah. So far, our strategy does seem to be paying off, but obviously that doesn't really. I mean, let's not count our chickens just yet, because you never know what can happen. There are a lot of different ways that this can go bad. For example, I can die. I can die. So there is very much a possibility for that. Okay, how are my forces doing? Are we actually doing okay? I mean, what is actually happening here? Do we want to tell these guys to charge? The question is, do we? It may very well be better than what we have going on here, because as you can see, we're not really getting that many kills. That's the main problem. Our forces are just kind of getting attacked over and over and over again, and we're not really getting too many actual deaths on the opposing side. You know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. Let's go full on. Let's go full on. Let's actually tell our archers to charge in as well. We've already told our cavalry to charge. See, now look at the amount of damage that's being done right now. The amount of damage that's being done right now is absolutely staggering, which is exactly the reason why we wanted to go ahead and charge in. And I'm going to just run along here, try to deal as much damage as possible to the enemy archers. Let's try not to get caught out here, even though it is pretty easy for them to snipe me at this point. Yeah, no, we're okay. Alright, no, we're fine. We're fine. Yeah, no, we're just swarming them now. We are just absolutely swarming them. There is very little they can do here, unless they were to get a significant reinforcement wave from basically only pure infantry, I'd say. That would be the only way that they could really fight back against this, but we are just 100% in control of the situation. And they've got nothing. They've got absolutely nothing that they can do here, and that is... Yeah, look at that. We lost 7 people, which were mostly Warg Riders, actually, which we don't really have to worry about that. As you can see right here, we obviously had quite a significant amount of those. And to be honest, I do quite like having a little bit of cavalry with us, because if we have some cavalry, we can actually move a slight bit faster on the world map. We're also having the opportunity to perform some flanking actions and to have the ability to chase down opponents a little, not a huge amount, but we can chase down people on the actual map itself, on the actual battle map itself. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, very nice. Good, good. And our axe is absolutely feasting right now, which is really, really nice. Actually, very surprised, to be honest, because we've had a number of moments where the axe has not actually been paying off, and yet in this very battle, it has been getting kill after kill after kill, and getting one-shots at that, which is really, really nice. We have to try out our sword as well, yet again, because we haven't really tried that out that much, although it does have much less damage. And, oh yes, that's not actually it. That's the one-handed. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're basically done. Whoa, these guys are sprinting. You see how fast these guys are? This is crazy. Wow, okay. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's actually kind of immense. All right, so I'm just going to speed everything up towards the end here, because we don't have too many enemies for us personally to fight. And there it is. Oh, look at that. Wow, our one of our companions actually just got a kill. Very nice indeed. Okay, so 34 renown, 59 influence, very, very good. And we do obviously have morale. Now, as long as we didn't lose too many, we can probably move straight on to where we want to go, which is obviously Helm's Deep. I would love to be able to go there. Okay, so these are all Gondorians. Okay, I actually didn't know that. I thought that these guys were Rohan. So this is really, really interesting, actually, because I thought we were going to be weakening our upcoming opponent really, really nicely, but unfortunately, no, we are not. So that's kind of unfortunate. Okay, well, we're just going to level up a couple of people here, and then we're going to be taking some people as well. We just have to make sure we're not... do we have any low levels, actually? Do we have any really, really low level people? I think we do. Yeah, these trackers, I suppose. The fighters, hunters. Yeah, I think we could probably get rid of some of those, and then we can take some more shield bearers. We could take some of these. Black Uruk Archer. Orc Warrior. Yeah, okay. I think that's probably it. I guess I should just take some of the ones that we left over then. Wait a minute. These guys, yeah, as you can see, they're pretty low level, unfortunately. And we do have these fellows as well, which are slightly better, but they are ranged. So what I'll do is I will literally just take the... I'll take the infantry for now. And yeah, we'll move on. There's nothing much for me to do here. I am way too far away from any garrison or anything like that, so I won't be able to do anything with these people. You know, won't be able to put them into a garrison or anything like that. And as you can see, she does have... She's our steward, actually, 126. And Warwick has 142 in medicine. Very nice. Okay, so yeah, obviously, as you can see, they've got some pretty decent gear for the most part, and I don't really want an Uruk like her to be wearing human armor, so technically we can just give him some stuff, I suppose. We can just upgrade him a little bit here. And, well, as you can see, basically already done, already upgraded. Let's take a look at the two-handed sword that we're actually using, because there is a two-handed sword here from Numenor, which might actually be kind of cool. But you can see here we're currently using a legendary Gondorian sword that we pilfered from someone. I actually don't know who it was, but yes, 20,000 experience. Okay, yeah, I guess I will just take a couple of things here. I'll take the weapons, even though that does reduce the amount of experience we're going to get, but that's okay. I don't think we really need to worry about that a significant amount, so we can probably just relax a little bit on that. And so let's move on. We do have some more level ups coming our way, which is very nice. Ooh, really? Only 2? Really? Okay, I'm actually surprised about that. Okay, so this is where we are, obviously, and I was on my way down here. Now, if we can go... Yeah, I was kind of hoping for Helm's Deep, to be honest. You know, this is going to be really, really easy. If we have... we might have the opportunity to do this. If we can starve them out really fast, we should be able to do this really, really quick. I'd like to do that and then head on to Helm's Deep. Yes, 7 days. Look at that. 7 days? Absolutely amazing. That is really, really good. Okay. So let's have a look here. Yeah, we want mounted patrols, in my opinion. We'll do mounted patrols just purely because it is fundamentally one of the best perks in the game. Same thing with keen sight. Unfortunately, I need 225 in scouting to be able to make it there. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it there, unfortunately, because we have only 2 in cunning. Alright, so we do have a bit of a situation here. We have Rohan attempting to take Dunlostir, and that is obviously over there. We don't have to really worry about it too much. That is not a town or anything like that. That's just literally a castle that I didn't even really put that many people in there. I think I just recruited some people from some nearby villages and just smacked them in there. Not really super dangerous or anything like that. If it does get taken, which I think it probably will, in, well, not that much time, then, you know, hopefully that particular vassal or shall we say army will be a little bit worse for wear, and they may not decide to head on to one of my nearby towns, because if they do take a town, then I will be, well, not best pleased, let's just say that. But, as you can see, this is what we're doing right here. I am attempting to take this garrison with minimal casualties. I really want to make sure that we have as minimal casualties as possible, because this really makes a big difference. If we can take this with, let's say, less than 10 casualties, I'll be pretty pleased with that. That means that I can then continue on with a reasonably strong force and hopefully take Helm's Deep. If I can take Helm's Deep, that's going to be fantastic. I'm actually really excited to see whether there is kind of like a base version of the siege map. I don't know whether there is. If there isn't, then that's absolutely fine, because obviously this mod is still in development. So we don't really want to, you know, we don't really want to have too high expectations for that. And it is completely understandable that more, you know, more scenes and so on and so forth still need to be added and so on. That is really not that big a deal for me personally. I'm excited to see whether it is there, but if it's not, then that's all good. I don't really mind. All right, so let's see if we can, maybe we can level up our two-handed skill. I'm actually going to switch to my two-handed sword. Let's see how the sword does in comparison to the axe. So far, not, yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, a little bit problematic that this is gonna... Yeah, they're gonna block me all the time. Ah, there we go. Nice. All right. Yes. There we go. Okay. Yeah, the sword is obviously a little bit faster. Obviously, you got to bear that in mind. It's a little bit faster than the axe. I'd like to get to 225 in athletics as well. That would be a very nice thing. I actually wonder, does it have slash? I mean, like cleave? Can it actually cleave? I don't think it has cleave ability. I think the axe is the only one that really does that. Unfortunately, as you can see right here, the sword does not have as much damage, but thankfully, I mean, it is a little bit easier to use because of its I think it has slightly lower length. I could be wrong about that too. I actually don't know, but yeah. Let's just see if I can. Well, I mean, these are all militia, of course. So the amount of experience we're going to get for these, not going to be exceptional, but we can maybe get something here. There we go. Okay, come on. Yeah, I know for a fact that generally most of these guys would have died if we'd used the axe, so I'm kind of thinking maybe I should just continue using it. I don't know. Feels to me like that's probably the way to go. Generally, obviously, base value, right? Base value actually has much more of an impact than you might think. Obviously, I mean, it's it's pretty obvious, right? You know, in RPGs, since their conception, you know, there's always been the classic moment of picking up a weapon, and you know, let's just say you started the game and you're using like a rusty sword or whatever, and then you pick up a weapon that is just a standard iron sword or steel sword or just a regular sword that is just like, you know, not rusted, and immediately you think to yourself, oh, look at that, my rusty sword does 3 damage and my new sword does 9 damage. I wonder which one is better in terms of damage output, of course. And so, you know, you then equip the better sword, right? You equip the more damaging sword. So yeah, I guess that's that kind of puts paid to that. But obviously, there are a number of other reasons and, you know, ways that you can use your two-handed skills. I'm actually not entirely sure what we're waiting for right now. And there it is, 21 renown and 32 influence. Pretty nice, not too bad actually for such a small siege. Basically, you know, we really didn't have anything super badly to worry about here. And obviously, they have a huge amount of troops, huge amount of prisoners, shall we say? They have no actual troops for us to rescue, so I'm basically just going to be leaving all of these. There's no point in me taking them. I am very far away from a town, and we are pretty much all that we're going to do. Yes, I can't. We're going to have a bit of a problem on our hands if I run out of food when we're taking Helm's Deep. But I have a feeling that Helm's Deep is going to have a significant amount of food supply, and there's never ever in a million years going to be enough time for us to. Yeah, they have 700, but they don't have any vassals in there now. Oh yes, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Oh yes, I'm gonna go there immediately. I am going there straight away. Okay, I did get to 175 in leadership as well, so this is going to be quite nice. Let's go for that. Oh yes, party size limit. That sounds good. Yes, and the 10 battle morale is actually going to help us right now. Usually, I always say to you, every single time there is a morale-based perk, I always go, well, that's not very useful because we're usually at 100 morale. But yeah, actually, you know what? This is actually kind of useful at this point. Okay, so unfortunately, we are now ending up losing potentially Grimberg. Grimberg might actually get taken, which would be... actually, no, Goldberg. Never mind, not Grimberg. Sorry. Yeah, both of these. Yeah, Berg-based things. Yes, Berg-based fiefs. Thankfully, Goldberg is the one being taken, because Grimberg is the town and Goldberg is the castle as far as I remember, so I don't think we really need to worry super badly about that. And we're also going to be taking Tracker. Now, Tracker, for me personally, this is actually a really nice perk, just purely for the 2% additional travel speed while following a hostile party. For me, I would... This doesn't even... This is the funny thing, okay? Usually I'm always going on about how I'd love to see a perk rework, right? Well, in this case, I would just like to see a numbers change. I just want this to go from 2% to 5%. That's it. That's all I want. Just 2% to 5%. That would make so much of a difference. It would just be just a nice quality of life improvement, just to make it so that you don't have to potentially have the optimal party setup with a huge amount of cavalry and horses and so on to be able to catch these 15 bandits that are running away from you that you need for the brigand slaughtering quest. And that's it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's just literally just a nice quality of life improvement. Nothing overpowered. You know, I don't want to run around at, you know, the speed of light or anything like that. I just want to be a little bit, you know, have a little bit of an easier time catching these bandits. And indeed caravans as well. The caravans are absolutely bonkers fast. So that would be nice. But obviously, you know, it depends. It depends. Obviously, it's one of those things. Some people are going to say, well, you shouldn't be able to catch those guys if you don't have the optimal setup. You need to go to my 58-page spreadsheet to be able to work out how to do that. Yes. Alright, so for this one, I'm not going to starve them out, obviously. Of course, I'm not going to starve them out. That would ruin everything. And instead, we're going to go the movie route. You know, we're going to go the movie route where we're going to destroy a little bit of the walls here. I really wish I had my maximum company size, but unfortunately, you know, couldn't do that. I just got the leadership perk just now. Very far away from basically any recruitment whatsoever, and we've gotten both of the walls down. You can see here, our power levels are pretty much the same. So this is pretty dicey. Not sure if this is even going to work, but we can try it. You know, we can try it out, see what happens. And indeed, yeah, as expected, it is not a custom scene, but that's okay. As I said, I do not mind about that because it's got a bit of a feel to it. It's got a bit of a feel to it right here because you know, you got the sweeping fields in between, and obviously you got the two wall sections that we've destroyed, and that's very good. Yes, I'm very, very pleased about that. So let's actually see how we do here, because this is still going to be a difficult one. This is still going to be extremely, extremely difficult. Let's see if we can make this work. We got a lot of archers. Hopefully, they're not going to shoot me really, really easily. The funny thing is, obviously, a lot of our perks work because we don't have a shield. And we also don't have a ranged weapon. So generally, if we were to equip a shield, that would fundamentally disable those perks, which is not exactly great. And that's the reason why I'm not using one, by the way, because we do gain a significant amount of movement speed and stuff like that from it. Nice damage. Nice damage. Unfortunately, the enemy also has nice damage. And they are attempting to run me down. They're attempting to run me down. That's not going to work, sir. That is not going to work. Because we are Bear Uruk, of course. Okay, here we go. This should be pretty decent. Okay, I was kind of hoping that we'd be able to do something in the back here, but unfortunately the enemy is being extremely frustrating to fight against right now, but there's not much for me to do about that. I guess what we should do is run down here. Run in here. Kill these guys, because they're not used to fighting round tables. We are, as an Uruk, of course. So, there we go. Should be pretty easy. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. And, ooh, nice. My athletic skills almost leveled up. Okay, so my Uruks, how are they doing? Not very good. Yeah, that's the answer to that. Not very good. Okay. Let's see how we do here. Yeah, we're gonna continue taking little bits of damage here and there, so I kind of have to be a bit more... Yeah, that's the thing. I have to be a bit more aggressive, but unfortunately being a bit aggressive also results in me taking little bits of damage. Yes, so not exactly great. Thankfully, they're all dead. That's nice. Yes, nice, nice, nice. Yes. Oh yeah, there we go. We're getting some one-shot kills all the time right now. Very, very nice indeed. Really helping us out here. We need to kill these King's Knights. There we go. Yes. Okay, come on now. A little bit of glancing damage there, unfortunately. Sometimes that happens. Okay, I'm going to have to be very, very careful here against this guy. I'm trying to destroy his shield as best I can. There we go. It's dead. Now he's dead. Now, if you could just put your shield down. Thank you very much, sir. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Let's try and help this Uruk out a little bit. Nice. There we go. Yes. Okay, okay, okay. We might actually have a pretty decent shot here. Bear in mind, obviously, combat strength. Our combat strength is exactly the same. Both of our forces have exactly the same combat strength. So it very much comes down to, in my opinion at least, how I play. which is definitely not a good sign. Yo, especially when I died. Yeah, we're gonna have to get out of here, unfortunately, friends. Yeah, the ratio is too high. The ratio is way too high. Really, really disappointing, actually. Really thought we would be able to do this. I mean, look, I've got 230, right? That's not good enough. That's not good enough, in my opinion. Like, yeah, sure, okay, fine. If you take a look at the composition, okay, I can't see the composition right now because I have to actually unpause the game and actually have a look and see what we can do here. But I am gonna be leaving. Oh no, my surgeon is. Oh no, are you serious? My surgeon actually died. I cannot believe that. Wow, that is that is probably one of the worst things that could have happened, isn't it? Okay, well, yeah, that's bad. That is very, very bad. Okay, well, we tried it, and as you can see, despite it even not being a custom scene, it is still extremely, extremely difficult, and for some reason, I cannot click anywhere. Huh. I literally cannot click anywhere, as you can see right here. It is actually impossible for me to move around. What about if I click here to this village? No, I seem to be stuck. Yes, I seem to be stuck. That's a bug. That's a bug, obviously. That's a bug. You know, still in development, very early alpha as far as I'm aware of the mod. So, you know, do bear that in mind. And I'm sure they're going to have this fixed in no time. They've already made like a whole bunch of changes to the mod thanks to the series, which I have to admit I am extremely impressed by. I was not expecting that at all. But it's always wonderful when modding teams work closely with the community. It always makes a huge difference to the final product, in my opinion at least. Obviously there are some cases where that isn't actually true, but yeah, they are you know, far and few between, so we don't really need to worry about those. Anyway, I'm going to try and unstuck myself here, and then we're going to move on, and we'll try and maybe take Fourth Brond back, and maybe go and see what's happening at Goldberg and all those other places. Okay, so we're picking up strong legs here, yes? Strong legs and way of the Great Axe. Yes, I am absolutely overjoyed that we finally got Way of the Great Axe, because let's face it, everyone needs a good little Woga. I just realized that's what Way of the Great Axe kind of goes into, if you get it, Woga. Anyway, point is, we're gonna be very pleased about this. Now, one problem is that I don't have a medic anymore. Yes, I don't have a medic anymore. So I'm thinking that what we're gonna do is I'm probably gonna spec in a medicine myself until we can actually find one. I don't know whether we're even going to be able to that easily, so it may very well be the case that I might have to respec our one remaining companion and take some focus points away from somewhere else for her, and then just put them in medicine and hope that she levels up relatively fast. That's the only thing that we can really do, with the exception of finding a medic companion. This is also kind of the reason why random... Wow, there's my medicine skill. And as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the catapult. Oh no, oh no, there we go, we actually pushed him back. Nice. Okay, yeah, anyway, as I was saying, that's the reason why random companions and the ability for companions to perish, which I personally think is actually cool. You know, don't get me wrong, I do like the death system. I think it's fun to have the have people have the potential to die, because that does add a whole different kind of stake, you know, to the proceedings, as it were. But yeah, the main problem with random companions is that I've actually demonstrated this in a previous series. You cannot sometimes find what you need to fill out your army role, as it were. So sometimes what's going to happen is you're going to spawn into the world, right, when you first begin your campaign, and you're going to be looking for something specific, right? And obviously, because the encyclopedia is not currently available to you, you can't really search specifics, as in you cannot search for a specific companion because the companion is unknown to you. So obviously the encyclopedia being that way also doesn't really help matters. But, you know, that notwithstanding, you then have to try and find randomly in the game world of over 100 different places that you can run into this companion that all of a sudden has, you know, a good amount of medicine skill in our case. So it's very, very difficult to actually make that work. And especially considering the fact that the one time I actually wanted to search for a companion, very specifically, I was looking for... I'm going to actually tell my forces to charge in here. I think we're going to need to. I was actually looking for a smithing companion, right? I was looking for a smithing companion because I was wanting to do a little bit of smithing with someone other than my character. And lo and behold, I actually looked for every single companion. I found every single companion, and there wasn't one in the game. There literally wasn't one. There was no spawn of a companion that had smithing skill at all, and that just says everything you need to know, because it's random. You know, it's random, so you just don't know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you're gonna get lucky, right? Sometimes you're gonna get lucky, and there's gonna be a huge amount of you know, companions that are actually the kind of skill that you want. And other times you're gonna get people that just basically have scouting, roguery, scouting, and roguery. And while those are not particularly bad stats to have, they're not exactly desirable. You know, especially when you're... Why can't I can't walk onto this? No, I can't walk onto the roof. Oh dear, there's an invisible wall there. That's very bad. Oh dear, I am dead, sir. Oh no. This is very bad. Okay, I think I'm going to have to switch to my one-handed, even though I don't really want to. Nice. Oh, I can't believe I got beaten like that, but it's okay. We've got a one-handed, right? A one-handed skill of 58. So obviously that makes a big difference. I'm actually really surprised we're losing so many people here. It's... You know what? I'm gonna have to get a medicine companion, because you could see here just how much of a difference it made. I could technically... I guess I could wait for a little bit of time, and then we could go back in, which would probably make sense, considering the fact that we do have 56 wounded, and that would probably be enough for us to capture this. But obviously, if you see here... oh, okay, no, never mind. They don't have that many wounded. Okay, that's actually not too bad. But yeah, this is exactly what happens, you see. Exactly what happens when you don't have a medicine companion. It just goes to show how important medicine as a skill actually is. It's also kind of primarily the reason why I usually... I'm going to go for Triage Tent, by the way. That's going to be really, really useful for us, in my opinion. This is why I usually go for medicine skill myself on my own character, because it just fundamentally increases the efficiency that you can level it up, because you have full control over it, and also the fact that, you know, you're probably not going to die as much as a companion dies. I don't know what it is about them, but they always seem to perish randomly. Alright, so we're going to go in once again. My forces are at full strength. I'm at full strength this time, so we're not at 50%. Obviously, I think if I was at 100% HP beforehand, I probably would have had a much easier time. We wouldn't have died that early, and I probably could have killed maybe double the amount of opponents. I actually don't know. I mean, it's obviously, yeah, there's always those moments where you just go in and you potentially have the opportunity to die instantaneously, just because that's just what happens. Sometimes it's just bad luck, you know. Hopefully, yes, hopefully I'm not going to die here, and hopefully I'm going to have a nice little slash for that fellow. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do this time is, instead of kind of snaking around the side and trying to get in to destroy the archers, which usually I do like to do, because I personally feel like that has a big impact on the amount of damage that the opponent can do, then instead of that, what we're going to do is we're just going to stay here. I'm going to try to stay here at the very least. I'm not sure if this is going to really work out too well, but the only thing I can really do here is I just need to support my forces. Unfortunately, the enemy is keeping their shields up really, really nicely here, and it's making everything much more difficult. That's kind of the thing I like about Gondor, to be honest. They do have less shield action going on, which does make things a bit simpler for us. And if I can just get the right spot to attack these guys. There we go, there we go. Nice. Yes. Yeah, there we go. See, now this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Absolutely perfect. Perfect positioning. Maybe what we could do here is maybe we could jump up here and then jump down on them. There's an invisible wall here too. Oh no, that's terrible. All right, well, I guess I could kill the archers at least. Yeah, well, invisible walls aside, I do think this is probably one of the more difficult sieges that we've done. Actually, hilariously enough, because I thought we did this one before, but I guess... Oh, yes! We did do this one before, but we took the walls down. Oh, yeah. See, now that just goes to show how much of a difference it actually makes to do that kind of stuff. Because obviously that's extracurricular, you know? You don't necessarily need to do that. I am going to get killed. Wow. Yeah, that's some pretty big damage from the archers coming in. Yeah, wow, that is actually some staggeringly good damage. I'm actually very surprised. Anyway, my forces should have this in the bag now, because we have eliminated the front line, and the enemy archers are not really going to be able to oppose us at all here. And as you can see, absolute destruction being done. Unfortunately, my medicine skill is not enough to really save many people. As you can see right here, look at that, 27 deaths. We did get 95 influence and 93 renown for this. Very, very nice to see that, actually. One thing we've got to do, though, I need to find more companions, for sure. I obviously need to find more companions, because one thing really needs to change. We need to have some reinforcements. Having some reinforcements would really make a big difference. Unfortunately for me, that's going to require me going to a bunch of towns, and I don't really have the ability to do that easily, you know. So, might be a bit difficult. Might be a bit difficult. Yeah, I'm just going to donate all of this. And we've now taken that, of course. But yeah, it just goes to show absolutely 100% different experience when you destroy the walls versus when you don't destroy the walls. Actually kind of insane how much of a difference it makes. Anyway, Goldberg, as you can see, is not getting taken for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, you can see that fourth bronze, which I took back, is now under siege again, which is wonderful, isn't it? Yes. Okay, well, what I'm going to do now, I obviously set out to do, you know, the siege at Helm's Deep. Did it. Unfortunately, it is very strong, and I'd probably have to starve the garrison out, probably, but I'm going to need more food for that, and I might even need to get some additional reinforcements. So what I'm thinking of is we might actually have to get some companions. Unfortunately, companions are going to be a bit difficult to come by, I think. There are 3, 4, 5 towns relatively close to us right here. So if I can go to those and try to pick up a companion or two, I might be able to find a medic companion if we're lucky. If I'm really lucky, I'll find a medic companion with 120 in medicine, which would be fantastic. If I'm unlucky, I'm not going to find any companions at all. Or if I'm medium lucky, I'll just find a companion that's good at combat. And I'll be able to create a vassal, potentially. I might be able to do that as well, because I do have 500 influence, which is enough. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.